Um, This is 720. What is responsibility in relation to other information? What is responsibility in relation to other information? Auditor's responsibility in relation to other information. Auditor's responsibility in relation to other information deals with other scope. Auditor's responsibility relating to other information. Auditor's opinion of financial statements doesn't cover other information. He is just required to read and consider other information for any material inconsistency information from the financial statement that may indicate material misstatements in either financial statement or audit report. Auditor responsibility may apply whether other information is received prior to or after. Audit responsibility to apply whether other information is received prior to or after the auditor's report. Responsibility in relation to other information. This is it doesn't apply to preliminary announcement of the financial information or prospectus. Obtaining the other information and determined through discussion with the management. Obtaining other information determined through discussion with the management. Determined through discussion with the management, which document comprises annual report or entities planned, the manner and timing of issuance of such documents. Make arrangements with management to obtain in timely manner. Make arrangements with the management to obtain in timely manner if possible prior to the date of audit report. Fine. The annual report. An annual report not available until the date of the audit report. Request management to provide a written representation of the final version of the document provided to the auditor when available and prior to its issuance by each entity, such that the auditor can complete the procedures required by this essay. Reading and considering other information. Auditor shall read and the other information and shall consider whether there is a material inconsistency. Read the other information and shall consider. Read the other information and shall consider whether there is material inconsistency between the other information and financial statements and other information and auditor's knowledge obtained in the audit. While reading other information, I mean alert for indications that information may be material and I mean alert for indications that other information may be materially misstated. Responding in material inconsistency. Responding in material inconsistency appears to exist or other information appears to be materially misstated. Discuss the matter with the management and if may perform the procedures to conclude whether the material misstatement of other information exists. The material misstatement of financial statements exist and auditor's understanding of the entity and management needs to be updated. When other information is materially misstated, request the management to correct the other information. If management agrees to make the correction, determine that correction made or refuses to make correction, communicate with the TCWG and request that correction to be made. If auditor concludes material misstatement exists and other information which is obtained prior to the date of the auditor's report and other information isn't corrected after communicating with the TCW prior to the date of the audit report. Material misstatement exists and other information prior to the date of the audit report and other information isn't corrected after communicating with the TCWG. Take appropriate action, including considering its implications for auditors report, considering its implications for auditors report, considering its implications for auditors report, and communicating with the TCWG about how auditor plans to address the management, and communicate with the TCWG about how auditor plans to, and communicate with the TCWG about how auditor plans to address the material misstatement in the auditor's report, or withdrawing from the engagement where withdrawal possible withdrawing from the engagement where withdrawal possible under the applicable laws and regulations. If auditor concludes the material misstatement exists in the information obtained after the date of the audit, prior to the date of the auditor report, after the date of the audit report देने के बाद material misstatement exist कर रहा है other information तो if other information is corrected, then perform necessary. If other information is corrected, perform necessary procedures. If other information is corrected, perform necessary procedures. If other information is corrected, perform necessary procedures. And if other information is not corrected, then after communicating with the TCWG, if other information is not corrected, even after communicating with the TCWG, take appropriate action considering the auditor's legal rights and obligations to bring the uncorrected misstatement, and considering the auditor's legal rights and obligations to bring the uncorrected misstatement to the attention of the users. Okay. When transactions are materially misstated or auditor's understanding needs to be updated. अच्छा Okay. Reporting audit report shall include a separate section with a heading other information, when at the date of the audit report for audit of financial statements of the listed entity, or for audit of the financial statements of the listed entity, for audit of the financial statements of the listed entity, auditor obtained or expects to obtain other information, or for audit of the financial statements of unlisted corporate entity, auditor obtained some or all of the other information. Auditor obtained or expects to obtain other information. For unlisted entities, auditor obtained some or all of the other information. Other information shall include the statement that the management is responsible for the other information. Management is responsible for the other information. Management is responsible for the other information. Management is responsible for the other information, and identification of the other information obtained by the auditor prior to the date of the auditor's report. Identification of other information obtained by the auditor. Identification of the other information obtained by the auditor. Identification of the other information obtained by the auditor prior to the date of the auditor's report, and for audit of the financial statement of listed entities, other information expected to be obtained after the date of the audit report. Acha. Other information obtained prior to the date of the auditor's report, prior to the date of the auditor's report, and other information expected to be obtained, and information expected to be obtained after the date of the audit report for financial statements of listed entity. Identification of the other information obtained. Identification of the management responsibility. Other information statement that the management is responsible for the other statement that the management is responsible for the other information. Identification of the other information identification of other information obtained by the auditor prior to the date of the auditor's report, and for audit of the financial statements of the listed entities, other information expected to be obtained after the date of the audit report. A statement that auditor's opinion doesn't cover this statement that auditor's opinion doesn't cover the information. Statement that auditor's opinion does not cover the other information. Statement that auditor's opinion does not cover the other information. And description of the auditor's responsibilities. Description of the auditor's responsibilities, and whether and other information obtained prior to the date of the audit report. Either a statement that auditor has nothing to report, or if the auditor concluded that there is uncorrected material misstatements of other information, a statement that describes uncorrected material misstatements of other information. Acha. Okay. And material misstatement, a statement that material that auditor has nothing to report. There is nothing, no material misstatement, but if the auditor concluded that there is a material misstatement which is uncorrected of the other information, statement that describes the uncorrected material misstatement of the other information. Reporting pursuant to law or regulation. If auditor is required by the relevant law or regulation to refer to other information, auditor's report using a specific layout or wording, auditor's report shall refer to essay only if auditor's report includes at a minimum identification of other information obtained by auditor prior to the date of the identification of the other information obtained, identification of other information obtained by other auditor to the date of the auditor's report, and a description of auditor's responsibilities, and explicit statement. Identification of other information obtained. 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 Explicit statement addressing the outcome of the auditor's work for this purpose, and its description of the auditor's responsibility. Description of the auditor's responsibility. 810.1 for SRE, 2400 SAE and SRS, 800 series. Okay, Excel 5, 800, 810, 10.1. Okay, SA 800 series, SA 800 special considerations, audits of the financial statements prepared as per the special purpose framework. Special purpose framework is a framework, financial reporting framework designed to meet the financial information needs of specific users. Designed to meet the financial information needs of the specific users. Designed to meet the financial information needs of the specific users may be fair presentation or compliance framework. Examples of special purpose framework: cash basis of accounting and cash flow information that entity may be required to prepare for creditors. Okay, cash basis of accounting or cash flow information, basis of accounting or cash flow information. FR provisions established by the regulator, FR provisions of the contract, example bond, indenture, loan agreement or project grant. The financial reporting framework to meet the common financial information needs of the wide range of users, that is now a financial reporting framework to meet the common financial information needs of the wide range of users and general purposes, and for needs of specific users, that is special purpose framework. A notes reference to financial statements in this essay means complete set of special purpose financial statements. Special purpose financial statements including related notes. Related notes include summary of the significant accounting policies and explanatory information. Considerations when accepting such assignment: determining the acceptability of the financial reporting framework for special purpose financial statements. Financial information needs of the intended users are key factors in determining the acceptability of the financial reporting framework. Applicable financial reporting framework: if the financial reporting regulator.